All right, everybody. Good to see you. This is MAOL 530 for fall 2022. For the first bite term, my name is Jeremy Bibbins. We're going to be talking about solving systems with substitution. As you can see right here is our learning target that we'll be discussing where we can solve systems using the substitution method. So let's go ahead and dive on in. These are the three steps that we will be using to solve a system using substitution. We'll solve at least one equation for one variable. Sometimes that will be done for us. Sometimes we have to do the algebra for it. And we'll be making use of literal equation work that we did earlier. We then substitute the result from step one, that equation solve one variable, into the second equation where we replace the variable, and we solve the equation. We take that result, we substitute it into the second equation or the other equation, and substitute for the other variable. Write the solution as a ordered pair or coordinate pair. So x comma y, and we do need to see that for our answer. So let's use these steps to solve our first problem that says 3x minus y equals -7 and y equals 4x plus 11. For this particular problem, you want to look for one of the equations that says either x equals everything else or y equals everything else. If you look, this equation has y equals 4x plus 11. The y equals in the beginning tells us that's what we want alone. So we're going to take what y equals, which is the 4x plus 11, and we're going to substitute it right there. Remember, substitution means we have a lot of parentheses popping up. So we bring down the 3x, our minus, put your parentheses where the y was, equals -7. Now, where those parentheses were where the y was, is where the 4x plus 11 belongs. Those we're subbing in. Now I have to take care of some algebra, so I'm going to distribute this negative to the 4x. So I get 3x minus 4x. I have the negative times a positive 11, so I get -11 equals -7. Combine like terms, so 3x minus 4x is -x, or -1x, minus the 11 equals -7. I'm going to add the 11 to both sides, because now I'm just trying to get the x alone. When I do that, I get a -x, our 11s cancel, equals what I believe to be 4 from the -7 plus 11. Then we need to get the x alone by dividing by the -1 on all sides. And here x is going to equal a -4. So I'm going to put a box around that. Not our final answer, but it helps us get to the final part. So now, I usually suggest going back to the equation that has either the x or the y equals, just because it makes our work a little bit easier. But you could choose the 3x minus y equals -7, but for my preference, I use what I've boxed up there, because it makes our algebra a little quicker to find out what the y equals. So y equals 4x plus 11. I'm going to take the -4 I just got for the x and substitute that in. So 4 times -4 is -16 plus 11. And I believe y equals, it's going to be a negative, and -16 plus 11 is -5. I'm going to put that in a box. Now for our final answer, we need a coordinate pair where we have the x comma, y. I know that the x is -4. I know the y is -5. And since this is my final answer, I'm going to put it in a big double box. All right, let's move along to the next example. It is a check, so I would advise you to pause the video to try it out and then play the video to see if you got it correct. All right, getting us started, we have y equals 2x plus 2. I'm going to take that and I'm going to place it right here for the y since it's y equals. So there I get my 3x unchanged minus 2. There's a parenthesis where the y was equals -17. So I'm going to put the 2x plus 2 in there for the y. Use your algebra to use the distributive property. So I have 3x. -2 times positive 2x is -4x. -2 times positive 2 is -4 equals -17. Now we're just going to solve by getting these common terms together first. 3x minus 4x is -x. Bring down the -4 equals -17. Add 4 to both sides since it's furthest away from the variable. -x equals -13. If you divide by the -1, that's now the coefficient of x. We'll get our positive coefficient of x that we want, and it's going to be a 13 for x. Put a box around it. Now you can go back to either of your equations up here, but again, I like where we have either a y or x equals. We have y equals 2x plus 2. And I just found out that x is 13. So I'm going to put the 13 in for x. So y equals 2 times 13 is 26 plus the 2. 26 plus 2 is 28. Put it in a box. And remember, we have to put our final answer in a coordinate pair. So we have our x, comma, the y, in our double box to represent the final answer. The x goes first, so we have our 13. And then we have our y, which is the 28.